here than we do today. But then, Ronald McDonald's came along, McDonald's, and introduced chicken McNuggets and ready-to-eat salads, which created a decline in the eating habits of the nation. Hi, welcome to the Little Chat with Vaughnetta. I'm going to be talking about the major Supreme Court cases that happened in the 80s. In 1985, the case New Jersey versus TLO was solved. It all started when a high school student was accused of smoking in the bathroom. So the principal searched her purse for cigarettes. Ooh. But he found marijuana and she was busted. The student claimed the search was not justified, but the Supreme Court said the search did not violate the Constitution. In 1984, the Republican convention held in Dallas, Texas. Among those protesters was Gregory Lee. They were protesting against nuclear weapons as they marched through the streets. He doused the flag he held in kerosene and lit it on fire instead. Beep, beep, beep. This shocked the people around him. He was then arrested and it was declared that respected objects should not be vandalized. This case was known as Johnson versus Texas. And lastly, the student press rights. This gave students the right to publish their views, whether biased or not corresponding to adult views. It started when the principal of a high school took out a student's article because he didn't agree with it. The Supreme Court declared that students have the right to declare what they have in mind. And that is all for our little chat. Now have a nice day. And before I go to the wrap, in 1988, George W. Bush became president and he also dealt with communism. And in 1989, agreements were made and the START I was signed with the Soviet Union. This was also known when the Cold War came to an end and the Berlin Wall was brought down.
I'm gonna drop your taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm looking for some comments. This is freaking awesome. I walk into the White House like, what up, I crushed Jimmy Carter. Now I just pumped up ideas for the Congress. Tell government to get out of the industry business, like give them some space. You're destroying the progress. Butter some Reaganomics, try to cut some more taxes. Now that's what we call supply side economics. Trying to make the economy move, raise the for Medicaid, lower welfare benefits, cut back on food stamps. Crap. Bringing down federal spend.
I've been building up the monetary planning that the people also created. The people better lives and where states do whatever is designed. Do what I'm doing, that's how we do it. I'ma do it baby style. I'ma do it baby style. No, for real, cause I'm a second-hand style. Got Republicans in charge of the Senate. Running up the taxes in the House of Representatives. This really hot shot, Ruby John and fly. So I told my speech, Nancy, I forgot stuff. Hello, it was right back with y'all. Too bad, cause this plan didn't go well. Took me to the hospital and now he gets the hospital and along and I heard he's a survivor.
I'm gonna drop some taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm hunting, looking for some commies. This is freaking righteous.
I'm gonna drop some taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm hunting, looking for some commies. This is freaking righteous.
I'm gonna drop some taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm hunting, looking for some commies. This is freaking righteous. I'm gonna drop them taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm hunting, looking for some commies. This is freaking righteous.
I an ultimate dog and his female rider whose name was Ticket. She stopped with a look of teeth so she couldn't make it. Her better action is very wet and was legit. They be like, oh, how about the people hostages? I'm like, yo, let me raise your wages. The minister arrived, the president had to go. Looking at the rate and everything, I get it to the president. I call that racist stack. Yes, I call that like tricks and progress. I'm sure it's gonna know. In 1988, an election in town was sure going down. The new president was had to deal with more communism. I'm just rolling more push. And I'm so out. And I'm so out. Beat up.
Reagan style. Yeah, I'm gonna drop your taxes, put more money in your pocket. I'm on my money, looking for some money. This is freaking righteous. I was a movie star. I took a military car. I fight those communists. I created Reaganomics. I was a movie star. Yeah, I took the military car. Come on.
I fight those communists.
I created Reaganomics.
I'm gonna drop your taxes.
Put more money in your pocket. I'm on my money, looking for some coffee. This is freaking righteous.
Fabulous fashion. Broad hair. Leather jackets were very popular in the 80s for both women and men. Night out, neon and leather pants were also popular in the 80s. Neon overall was a huge trend in the 80s. And there were preppy people who wore pastel colors, sweaters over their shoulders, stuff like that, more conservative. Power dressing was huge for business people, mostly adults, with heels, shoulder pads, blazers, dresses. Punk rock was also big, band t-shirts, boots. And then hip-hop began to emerge in the 80s with dress like today, and the baggy shorts and stuff. Princess Diana was a huge fashion icon during the 80s with her dresses and all her nice clothes. And then again, neon. And then Valley Girl was also a trend, and it's V-Dog with D-Dog, with mini skirts and oversized sweaters in neon. Exercise was a big thing with neon windbreakers and leggings. Also, leg warmers were also popular with this trend. Men's fashion included skinny ties, leather jackets, boots, sleeveless shirts, and band shirts. Grunge was just basically clothes thrown together. And then neon mix, again, baggy sweaters, sunglasses and stuff. And then mixed fashion, neon leggings, mini skirts, stuff thrown together. Dressy, more adults, again, were more conservative with their fashion. And then men's fashion, jean jackets were also big in the 80s. Now it's time for economy.
Hello there. I'm a yuppie. Yes, a yuppie. Have you ever seen the 80s classic Wall Street? Yup, that's us. We are the young, white-collar workers who are living the nice life in the city and rolling in the dough. You see us working as CEOs in industries that are a part of the strong industries. Biomedical and biotechnological are the strongest and newest in the business sector. Before I go to my do lunch, a lunch where yuppies talk about business stuff, let's go over the economic papers that my secretary just faxed me. Let's see here. We are in a recessionary business cycle, but those farmers aren't doing so well. They have a crisis on their hands. Reaganomics is still strong and keeping its message alive. We have strong tax cuts and decreased social spending. That's good for me. Man, I love trickle-down economics. Speaking of the government, there's a new Economic Recovery Tax Act. The strong growing industries are construction, manufacturing, wholesale and retail, finance, and services and government. Look, oh look here. We're producing microwave ovens, refrigerators, and color TVs. And we're shifting to manufacturing, yo. Oh, I can't forget those custom kitchens. Gotta get me one of those. Unequal wealth, well, that sucks for the poor. That's it for now. I'm gonna be late. We're going to talk about what moving to the company out of the country. It's cheaper that way. But before I go, I would like to remind you, like the Dire Straits said, get your money for nothing, get your chicks for free. Well, welcome to America's most favorite game show, The Price is Right. Okay. This is the game for all things pricing. I'm Barbara Barker, and I'm ready to get some prices on. Let's call up today's contestants.
Holly Callan, come on down. Shannon Herzog, come on down. Congratulations, you're all contestants on The Price is Right.
Hello, contestants. Today you will be competing for your fellow classmates. Holly, you will compete for that side of the room. Shannon, you will compete for that side of the room. Whichever side wins gets the good candy, now and laters. And the bad losing side, they get just mints. So don't get mints. Okay, so I will be asking you questions. I will first tell you what the price is today, and you're gonna have to guess the price for like in the 80s, okay? Okay. Number 1. Average price of a car is $30,000 right now. What was the average price in the 80s?
I guess $20,000.
I guess 16,000.
You were closest. It was 6,000. But now, both of you guys get to go to the bonus round.
Woo! Bonus round!
Yeah! Okay. It'll be just like before. I will tell you the price of now, and you'll have to point to the price that was in the 80s. Okay. Number 1, gas. Right now, gas on average is $4. What was the price in the 80s? $1.19 or $1.30?
I guess $1.19.
I'll go with $1.30.
It was $1.19.
Yes!
Okay. The average price for milk right now is $1.50. What was the average price in the 80s? 85 cents or $1?
85 cents.
Okay, I'm good with $1.
85 cents. You guys are tied. Okay. Right now, bread is on average $1. How much is it in the 80s? 74 cents or 50 cents?
50 cents.
74 cents.
You were right. 74 cents.
Congratulations, Holly, you just won The Price is Right.
Postage stamps. Whatever. And postage stamps were 33 cents. 22 cents. Yay.
Woo! You still won.
Winning side. Good job, winning. about trends and fads. Do you know what time it is? Time to talk about trends/fads, of course. Exercise time. Woo! Let's get physical, everyone. Okay, guys. Come on, Mr. Whalen, you too. Do it for your lady. Come on. Oh, there you go. You gotta do it. You gotta get that top on. Okay, the Rubik's Cube was very popular in the 80s. Do the Rubik's Cube. Come on, guys. And think and ponder. Okay. Smurfs were very popular. Let's say hi to the Smurf. Hello, Smurf. Hello, Smurf. Hello, Smurf. Another thing that was popular was the Chia Pets, which came out in the 80s. The first one was the Ram. To the Ram. To the Ram. To the Ram. Roar. Roar. Add sound effects too. Roar. Roar. Video games was a very popular leisurely activity. One was the Pac-Man. To the Pac-Man. Meet your friend. Meet your friend, guys. Another popular video game was Donkey Kong. To the monkey. To the monkey. Big monkey. Big monkey. The Cabbage Patch Kids was a very popular major toy trend. Let's do. Show your cheeks, guys. I'm a Cabbage Patch doll. Yay! Overall, fitness was big in the 80s. This is for you guys! With their leotards, neon and spandex leggings, leg warmers, and off-the-shoulder shirts, and eating things like this energy bar. Major icons were Jane Fonda, who was an actress too. Also, Richard Simmons, who was infamous for his short shorts. Thanks. Our CDs are sold in the back for $19.99. Woo! Good job, guys. You worked off that candy. Woo! Now it's time for religion.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
I bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Bang, bang!
He shot me down.
Bang, bang!
Right to the ground. Bang, bang! Okay, so, Pope John Paul was shot in Rome Street in Petersburg Square, and he was shot once in the arm and once in the butt. The 80s was a really big religious reform era. Many people left their conservative religious views and started to lead less moral lives. By the mid-1980s, many surveys were showing a decline in mainline Protestant sectors. Gallup polls by 1986 were reporting that 3 in 10 Americans, which is 31%, felt comfortable referring to themselves as evangelicals or born-again Christians.
Time for television. Oh, look at this beautiful TV. Let's see what's on TV. Hello, guys. We are The Cosby Show. We are the first TV African-American family depicted as a wealthy middle-class family. 2 stars from the show were Bill Cosby as the dad and Raymond Simone as the daughter. I'm the doctor! Hello, and welcome to Roseanne. We are a show about a working-class family that was #1 in 1989. Hi, I'm Roseanne, played by Roseanne Barr. Don't mess with me, I'm sassy and sarcastic. Now, let's see what's on. Oh, Golden Girls. Hi, we are 3 older BFFs living together. Hi, I'm the star. You know me as Betty White. That says it all.
And I'm the gay housekeeper. It's fabulous. Now let's see what else is on. Oh, different strokes. We stroke differently than the others. We adopted 2 African-American boys from Harlem.
What you talking about, Willis? We stroke as same as everyone else.
Whatever you say, child star Gary Coleman.
Hi, I'm Angela Lansbury. I write murders, and then they happen. Isn't that crazy? Woo!
And the show Murder, She Wrote. Other television shows included Dallas, Family Ties, MASH, The Dukes of Hazzard, Three's Company, Cheers, Dynasty, and 60 Minutes, which didn't come out in the 80s but was very popular during this time. Now it's time for social.
Social. The middle class shrunk during this decade, while the upper class and lower class grew, resulting from an uneven distribution of wealth and an ineffective policy of trickle-down economics. The main source of conflict in the 1980s was an immigration issue called the Mariel Boat Lift. It began on April 1st, 1980 and ended September 25th. The Mariel Boat Lift took a massive influx of Cuban immigrants to the United States with a total of 124,776 immigrants. There were many safety issues because pretty much anyone who had a boat could come and bring their relatives back from Cuba. Social issues. AIDS was a major issue making its debut in the 1980s. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS, was perplexing to doctors. They could not figure out how to treat it, making a diagnosis of AIDS a death sentence.
Patty, are you ready? Oh, hi. The
Hi.
doctor's ready to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Sit. I'm sorry, but your test results confirm that you in fact have AIDS.
What you talking about? You tripping?
Patty is one of the thousands of people diagnosed with AIDS. Every day, people die, and every year the number is growing. With your help, we can find a cure for AIDS.
Who are you?
It's gonna be all right.
In the beginning of its existence, AIDS affected mainly homosexuals, leading many people to believe that only homosexuals could get the disease, raising many negative feelings towards the homosexual community.
What's up, baby? What's up? You know what makes me sad? What? Typical thing to AIDS happens to us homosexuals. I know, right? It's so irritating. Only there is a way to show us that this can happen to us. Yeah, right. It is. HIV. Easy 1, 2, 3. Easy as go, baby. STD happens to everybody, not just us 3. Just us.
This decade brought many important changes for women. Sandra Day O'Connor became the first woman to be a member of the Supreme Court in June 1981. She was appointed by President Ronald Reagan. Another big step for women was Sally Ride becoming the first female to go up in space when she went up in the space shuttle the Challenger in 1983. Geraldine Ferrero made history when Walter Mondale asked her to be the first woman to run for the office of Vice President in 1984. Civil rights. Many African Americans were elected to political offices in the 1980s. In 1983, the cities of Charlotte, North Carolina, Philadelphia, and Chicago elected their first black mayors: Harvey Gantt, Wilson Goode, and Harold Washington. In 1989, the voters of New York City, the most populous city of the time, chose its first black mayor, David Dinkins. The number of African American elected officials rose from 4,890 in 1980 to 7,335 10 years later. And in 1983, Reagan signed a bill making Martin Luther King Jr. Day a national holiday. Family life. In the 1980s, many women began working. There were very few few single-parent households. There are very few babies born to unmarried women. Children would watch cartoons on channels like Nickelodeon during the day, and then at night more mature programs would come on for adults to watch. And teenagers would often go to drive-ins on a regular basis. Today, these statistics being from 2008, most women are working. There are many single-parent households. There are many more single-parent households now. There are about twice as many babies born to unmarried mothers. There are still programs that come on later at night for more mature audiences, and there are very few drive-ins that are still open. If you look at this graph, you can see that the population in 1980 was 226,542,199, and it has since grown to 307,745,538 in 2010. And you can see that the population greatly increased since 1980. If you look at this graph, you can see that since 1980, the marriage rate has gone down, and although the divorce rate has gone down, it hasn't gone down by much. And finally, if you look at this graph, you can see that in 1980, unmarried women with no children were more likely to work than men, but since then, men have surpassed them.
Hey Rhonda!
Hey.
Do you want to shoot some hoops? Want to play a little b-ball? 1-on-1, yeah?
You think you could be the next Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan?
You know it!
Nah, too many people on the court. It's a popular sport, you know.
I'm almost as amped up as when the Twins won the World Series for the first time in 1987. Go Kirby Puckett! Woo! Or when the Bears won the Super Bowl in 1985, Mr. Wayland, woo!
Duh, Bears. Speaking of football, there's an article about 80s football legends Jerry Rice and San Francisco Montana in here.
What about the tennis courts? John McEnroe winning his second title, 6-5, in 1980 is pretty inspiring. I know it's a kind of popular sport, but I bet nobody's on the court now.
People are on the court. Oh, looky here. The U.S. protested the Olympic Games in Moscow.
Eat my shorts, Soviet Union and Eastern Germany.
Oh, that was 1980. What's their damage anyways? Taking over Afghanistan?
Then in 1983, they protested our bomb diggity first home Olympics in Los Angeles, but it wasn't so fresh. We burned them and all our extra medals we won.
In my shorts, communist countries.
Whatever, Muhammad Ali can beat him any day.
Unless if they have Larry Holmes on their side who beat Ali in 1980.
Hey, right here it shows that we showed those Soviets during the Miracle on Ice.
Duh, that was one unexpected win at the 1980 Winter Olympics. Does it say anything on those achieving athletes? I didn't get to that.
Oh, look here. It shows Greg LeMond, the first American cyclist to win the Tour de France in 1980.
Oh, jeez, but cycling is my sport, dude. What about track and field, America's second favorite pastime?
I don't think so. But in 1980, Mary Decker became the first woman to run the mile in under 4 minutes and a half. She is named in the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year for track.
Cool, women are the best. I remember in 1980, the Women's Sports Foundation established the International Women's Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I also remembered when the first NCAA college basketball championship for women was held in 1982. Louisiana Tech defeated those
Chennai State.
Oh yeah, that's
76-62.
And I also remember Nancy Lieberman Klein became the first woman to play in the men's professional basketball league in '86.
Awesome! Look, the baseball field is open.
Oh, yay! Woo!
about how space stuff was interesting, like going to space, the new missile things. And
That's cool, you guys. You know, we should talk a bit more about intellectual.
Yeah, I want to really know more. My brain's growing.
Everybody gather round.
Well, if she can tell his secret, then I can tell mine. Intelligence is my passion.
What?
I love science, computer, space, and even major discoveries.
Not another sound.
There were many scientific discoveries in the 80s. No.
No. Start with the stuff you know. If you wanna be cool, follow the simple rules. Don't mess with the flow. No. Start with the stuff you know.
The 80s stuff challenge exploded. The Macintosh was released. Sparks in the computers saw the reason prices is a secret I need to share.
Tell us more. What else happened?
Intelligence is my passion. I love new things in space and healthcare.
That is so rad! Give another key.
In 81, AIDS was identified. It was huge, dude.
Oh, baby, they got a heart. Gene splicing years later.
Gene splicing also began to mess with the flow. No.
Some people said, oh no. Listen, well, I'm ready to tell about a need that they cannot deny. I'm talking about education, middle class, some sensation, English and humanities too.
Speak your mind and you'll be heard.
All right, if they want to talk about science and I want to graduate, college or high school.
Awesome!
How many do?
Like, lots?
High school 78, college 16.
Not another sound.
Do you have to learn about
Anyway. Oh, the things that we need to know. What eradication of good situation. Oh, one of smallpox, of course. Declared by WHO. Wow. No. Stick to the science you know. It's bad by far. You know that they are. Don't have to go. Don't look stupid, no. You forgot some space off. Scientists saw his comet. And I just gotta say, now you don't understand.
something's missing?
Really, something is really gone.
The dinosaurs
are
are
killing
killing Says I'm
Gotta know.
Turbo.
We can show them,
Nuclear power.
and it's got to go. We can show them.
Keep your voice down.
Hepatitis B.
Yes, another vaccine. Yes, another vaccine.
Everybody quiet!
Black hole was found.
Milky Way.
Because of the evidence, I can't have people forget the hole in the ozone.
No. Stick to the stuff you know. If you wanna be cool, follow the simple rules. Don't forget Barney. Oh no. Artificial heart. Oh, wow. No. He did
celebrity support group. I have been asked to be the therapist. Today, we will meet various number of different characters that are part of this group.
Hi, I'm E.T.
Hi, E.T.
Everyone loved me, especially Steven Spielberg. I was number one. The kids used to say, "Aww," when I said E.T. phone home.
Oh no, my favorite toothpicks. How did I drop? How many did I drop?
Rain Man, come on!
3 toothpicks, 3 toothpicks, there are 3 toothpicks.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Tom Cruise, and that was Dustin Hoffman. I was in Rain Man, back when all the girls screamed my name. Instead, now it's Justin Bieber in One Direction.
Shame. You're a stud. Can you guys tell me your celebrity crushes?
Molly Ringwald. She is totally tubular to the max in Pretty in Pink and an 80s movie.
Patrick Swayze from Dirty Dancing, Tom Cruise from Rain Man, Top Gun, Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cops 2, Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future, Harrison Ford from the 80s Star Wars movies, and Sylvester Stallone from Rocky 3 and 4.
And who are you?
I'm Jennifer Grey. I was in Dirty Dancing. It was great, grossing $170 million. We knew how to move. But now when kids hear Dirty Dancing, they just think about grinding.
What a shame.
I got a question. It's been digging inside me.
Tell us.
Who framed Roger Rabbit? I mean, I watched this rad 80s movie, grossing $349 million, and they were both cartoons and people at the same time for the first time. I'm still confused. Will you help me?
Okay, I have had enough of this. Kancans cruise out.
Gotta call on my pager. Gotta go ghost busting like the 1984 movie, grossing $292 million.
I'm feeling lonely and sad that they didn't remember the Goonies. That was my favorite.
And now, art.
Welcome to the Ghetto Gallery. This is a place where all the hip-hoppers hang out to look at 80s art.
Yo, what's up, home girl? Yo, not much. Just looking at some 80s art, yo. It reflected the rebellion life of people like us. It also signified social issues, yo.
I was just listening to DMC on my new Walkman, and I thought I'd chill here.
Cool, gnarly, bro.
What are you looking at?
This is Arnold Meshi's. This is his painting Art in Places. It was painted in 1985. There was also Charles Clow, but he was here a few weeks ago.
Rad. I know the 80s was named as the return of paintings. Do they have any other paintings here?
Yeah, let's come on. Oh, look at this one. This is Jean-Michel Basquiat.
I got this African Latin vibe from this one.
Yeah, that's what Basquiat was going for. He was Haitian, Puerto Rican, American.
Wow, he seems awesome.
Yeah, he is. J.C. Macklemore and Kanye West all positively mentioned him in their songs. He also dated Madonna. He collaborated with Andy Warhol.
He collaborated with Andy Warhol. Warhol died February 22nd, 1987, in New York City.
Oh.
You know, was there anything else Basquiat made?
Yeah, he was also a graffiti artist.
Graffiti, that was a major art movement in the 80s. Graffiti reflected on the growing hip-hop culture, which was known for rebellion.
Yeah, graffiti and painting were the only popular art trends in the 80s. There was also neo-pop art.
Neo-pop movement is so rad.
Yeah, totally. Many artists who are part of this movement were influenced by pop art. It became more popular in the 80s. Jeff Koons was a well-known artist of this movement. He was known for his balloon animal artwork. Here's one right here.
Awesome.
This is another sculpture he did.
Is that his too?
Hey, no touching the art.
No, that is Liam Steinbeck's sculpture. He's the dude everyone thinks of when they hear neo-pop art.
All these sculptures remind me of the tubular Vietnam Memorial. Its construction started March 29, 1982 and opened later that year.
The 80s was all about recognizing those Vietnam soldiers. The memorial was very popular and still is today. Steve Curry was also a popular sculptor who wasn't a part of this movement.
Hey, do you want to look at some photographs?
Yeah, photography was big in the 80s.
Oh my God, look here! These are 2 photos of Sidney Sherman's 80s collection, Disasters and Fairy Tales. She was also a film director and a big advocate for women's rights, and also helped change women's role in society. Many of her photographs had a feminist type of theme to it.
Hey
Girl
guys!
power.
Hey guys, this place is ace. You can have a bagging time with your BFF. Hey, do you want to do something after this?
We could go to the artist space around the corner.
An artist space is a term formed in the 80s to describe where artists went to be seen.
I'm not an artist. What 80s related thing could we do instead?
Oh my God, we could read an 80s bestseller novel. There's Stephen King. I liked his thriller Pet Sematary. There's also Sidney Sheldon, Shel Silverstein, Daniel Steele, Louis L'Amour, Dr. Seuss, Larry Kramer, an author and an aid advocate. Or we could read the popular E.T. novel by W. Howitzel Rooney. That's the one with the alien. Sci-fi, fantasy, and non-fiction books about exercise were popular at the time, guys. What else?
Animation was popular. We watched Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh no, animation hurts my eyes. Anything else?
Performance art was also popular. There was playwright Austin Wilson and choreographer Tyler Tarp.
Musicals were the most popular. What about the 80s classic Cats by the famous playwright Andrew Lloyd Webber?
I dig that. I saw Les Mis last week, which was also in the 80s. Can you tell me one last thing?
What?
How was architecture?
Well, I'll explain it like if it was the 3 Little Pigs. There were 3 little pigs. They were homeless because of a recession, because it was in a recessionary cycle. One little piggy went to Wells Fargo Center in Minneapolis, built in 1988. The next little piggy went to one of the many other skyscrapers of the decade, surrounded with windows and occasionally built in fun shapes like triangles. And the 3rd little piggy became an architect. According to my father, architects were very competitive, and everybody wanted to have the biggest building, but they were usually conservative in building stuff. Why?
That's right. I'm no bimbo airhead. Architecture is my passion, and no one can take that away from me.
Hey guys, this is slang. All throughout our presentation, we've used words like gnarly, tubular, eat my shorts, awesome. All of these were slang of the 80s. Eat my shorts, that's sort of like when you'd say like, oh, darn you, grr. Totally rad, that's like a good thing, like, oh, this is cool, yo. And yeah, that was slang in the 80s.
Time for music.
Guys, like, I love cars. Like, I love to rev the engine, and like, it's just so much fun. I just love it. You're the super freak, super freak.
We want a ladylike for women.
But me, girl, just wanna have fun. She still needs to be more ladylike. You know what, Vaughnetta? I'm gonna take your bullcrap. I'm not gonna take it. No, I ain't gonna take it. Denise? Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with the best shot?
Alright guys, let's all be nice here.
Sister Christian, now the time has come.
Oh, I guess you're right. We should all be nice to each other. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer.
Never mind. I think it's back. She wants to make
after you meet your friends, he can take you to his love shack, baby love shack,
And I'll be walking on sunshine. Whoa!
yeah, and then you two can just bust the move. I guess, let's keep it PG. But
I want man candy. Give it a rest.
I want Billy.
Billy Jean is not my lover.
But girl, if you want him, you need to start with the girl in the mirror. You need to ask her to change her ways. My message could have been any girl.
I wish love was easy. With my parents, sometimes it's like World War II. Always remember, Sid, love is a battlefield. And remember, don't stop believing in love. I just still love cars so bad.
Okay, as you can tell, music was really huge in the 80s. It was like the time of Michael Jackson, like lots of rock stuff. Rolling Stones, Van Halen, Queen. And these are a lot of the music that was in the 80s. And another thing that happened in the 80s was the original We Are the World, which was aid for Africa. And then time for Legacy. Legacy. Lots of stuff came out in the 80s. 3 lasting impacts are 1. Fashion, some of which is still popular today.
Music! Many music was so popular back in the 80s are still popular now.
Politics. Reagan was very successful and he dealt with foreign policy. Reaganomics was successful, especially the concept of supply-side economies. But he put the country into debt, and as he increased the deficit spending by building up the military.
Going back to fashion, many popular trends in the 80s that came back and are still popular today. Some of which include neon, leather jackets, jelly bracelets, and people such as actors, singers, and even people in politics influence the fashions of the day. When people hear the 80s, they typically think of the crazy fashion, hairstyles, and makeup of that time.
Music! They were the generation that just wanted their MTV. They also think of the great music like Michael Jackson's Thriller and his other famous songs, Springsteen's Born in the USA, and AC/DC's Back in Black. This music is still listened to not only by the 80s generation, but by today's youth as well.
Through one of our interviews, we learned that this decade was about its highs and lows, sad times and happy times. Sad times with the death of actor Rock Hudson and famous musicians John Lennon and Bob Marley. But there was also happy times with the end of the Cold War and the fall of the Soviet Union.
Through another of our interviews, we learned that to teenagers, the 80s was a very safe time with an abundance of independence, freedom, and fun.
This decade also brought about lots of changes, with changes in religion and lots of new discoveries. This decade is important because of everything that this decade brought that we still see as a part of our lives and impacting them today.